What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Westin Convention Center at Las Colinas. This is Irving, Texas, the site of the 2023 Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Tim May, the 40-year vet, has made the trip down. He's been up since 4 a.m. If he's a little cranky, we do apologize. Andy Baxter, he's been up just as early, making some travels. I got in last night, and now the Buckeyes are here. They've been here since December 23rd. Had Christmas in Dallas. Beautiful, wonderful time. There's a Christmas tree over there in the lobby of this beautiful hotel. And we finally got to talk to some Buckeyes about the bowl game, Andy, about the bowl game, Tim. Talked to some defensive guys, talked to defensive coordinator Jim Knowles today, and they had a lot to say. Needless to say, Jack Sawyer said he's more than likely coming back. Denzel Burke said he's going to announce on January 10th, but you sort of get the sense that he knows where he's leaning toward with that decision. Andy, I'm going to start with you this time. First thoughts after talking to the Buckeyes?
Well, Denzel Burke always says a lot. He said a lot today, a lot of positive things if you're an Ohio State fan in terms of him leaning towards coming back. Again, he did not announce it formally. He's saying that on December 10th, or January 10th, actually.
Yep.
But he is saying that he wants to be a top 10 pick. He is saying that, not beating Michigan and not going to a Big Ten championship are all factors into his decision. And he said that there's still work to be done for this defense to take it to another level. So you have to be encouraged if you're an Ohio State fan of hearing that. It seems like that this defense really understands what it can be next year if they all do come back. Jim Knowles said that he's not expecting any opt-outs. He hasn't heard of any opt-outs at this point for this bowl game coming up on Friday. So those are all positive things if you're an Ohio State fan looking at this defense not only for Friday, but also for next season.
Yeah, there was only one guy I was concerned about maybe opting out, really, defensively, was JT Tuimoloau, and he's practicing. Looks like he's going to play. I think that's a big deal.
Saw him this morning practicing during the open practice period. We also got to see that this morning. So
exactly, you got to watch practice. Andy Anders and I got here a little bit later, but we still got to talk to these players. And you're right, but the other thing about Denzel Burke, as you pointed out, he's always a treat whenever we get to talk to him. He's replayed about 100 times that interception that he thought he had in the end zone that was ruled not an interception, but in fact a touchdown against Michigan. And it's really funny, man. This guy, you just get the idea. As well as he played this year, he's got unfinished business, and yet he won't declare it to us. As I said, as he said, January 10th, and I remind everybody that's Bobby Rahall's birthday. So it'll be a big day for Bobby Rahal and maybe Denzel Burke and maybe the Buckeyes.
That's why he picked that date, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what I'm figuring.
For sure. I talked to, we talked to Jack Sawyer about his decision. And I asked him a little bit tongue-in-cheek if he was excited to play Akron in the opener next year. He thought that was a good way of asking that question. He said more than likely, so that's good news for the Buckeyes. Josh Proctor, one of the best stories you'll hear in the last decade at Ohio State. Talked to him as well. A lot of coverage coming there. I will get some practice notes out of the way. Everybody practiced but Marvin Harrison Jr. That made it a little bit uneventful. Was Mike Hall going to be practicing? Is he going to play in this game? He was out there in full practice. Was JT Tuimoloau going to practice and play? He was practicing. When you talk about Travion Henderson, he was practicing. So very uneventful 20 minutes of practice session for the Buckeyes, but it is very eventful for Friday night that they're going to be almost at full bore, Tim.
Yeah, defensively, big time against a really good offense. I mean, Missouri led by a multi-dimensional quarterback, et cetera. They're going to have great player Luther Burden. I mean, right on down the line, Missouri has threats almost across the board there. And but as you pointed out, there's a big difference between them playing on Friday night and staying on Saturday morning.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
So exactly. I mean, get the most out of this towel, wring it out. Is the way I think this team is looking at it, and Jim Knowles is looking at it. But you just get the sense, man. Like Ryan Day kind of threw that hint out there a week ago. A lot of these guys are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sense of unfinished business. There is a sense that this team wants to put a stamp on 2023 and turn it into a springboard to 2024. And the closer you get to the game, the closer it feels that way.
What else, Andy? What do you got for us?
Well, I mean, if Marvin Harrison Jr. does not play in this game, which it seems like that's a possibility now who's going to step at wide receiver, right? And Carnell Tate was the wide receiver that we've all been talking about since the spring, really. And it was the wide receiver that was talked about a lot today by Denzel Burke especially, who said he's him. And he's the next one up.
He's been him here.
Right. He's been him since he arrived.
One of the great quotes ever.
And he's the next one up. He said, mark my words, he's the next first rounder out of here. And Denzel Burke actually said, he believes that he's been a top 3 wide receiver at Ohio State this entire season. Now maybe he gets a bigger shot in this kind of game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of star power in this defense, though, that I think was highlighted today, just talking to those guys. Even someone like Ty Hamilton, who we don't get to talk to a lot. We got to speak with. Yeah. People forget, he played against Jack Sawyer in high school.
Yeah.
Also a Pickerington guy and local product who's had a chance to step up on this defensive line, which everyone talks about Tyleik Williams and Mike Hall Jr., but Ty Hamilton's been a big part of that as well.
Yeah, I like the Ty Hamilton story because
it
is funny how it's several years later, but it's following the same big footprints that his brother Devon Hamilton left.
Yep.
And the footprints got deeper as he went into his career. Same thing with Ty Hamilton now. And, we'll see what he ends up doing after the bowl game, but he's fired up about the bowl game, according to him.
I also talked to Steele Chambers, which is always just an absolute treat. He said he hasn't made a decision yet on his future. Of course, he's got the extra COVID year if he chooses it. I still am on the side that he will not choose to use that and he'll go on to the NFL. But he does have that option if he does want to come back. There's a lot of guys who viewers and sometimes us are surprised, like, wait, that guy's got another year? Wow, okay. But Jim Knowles said that 3 guys, I asked him specifically about the 2s and the 3s in bowl practice, and he said that the group that's taken the biggest step in bowl practice was linebackers, with C.J. Hicks, with Gabe Powers, and with Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
He named those 3 guys specifically. So
Very interesting, Arvell Reese in that mix.
Yeah, for sure, because he's a guy who's been coming on, and we've been hearing good things from assistant coaches and people that we talked to around the building about Arvell since he arrived in June.
Yeah.
So then you take that and you ask Steele Chambers about it, and he kind of echoed that sentiment that Jim Knowles said. Those 3 guys are really coming on, and when you add Cody Simon into that mix for next year, you're looking at a linebacker core that Ohio State feels pretty good with. They had a guy in from Cal from the transfer portal who visited, but then decided to transfer to TCU. Kind of flew under the radar when he got off the board. This was on signing day, but the Buckeyes feel good about this linebacker group, and we're getting a glimpse of the present and some of the guys who are making these decisions now, but we're also getting a big helping of the future. Yeah. By talking to some of these guys about future Buckeyes, and even Denzel Burke kind of talked about Lincoln Keenholz a little bit and how he's developed and come along. We can ask all these guys about what they're seeing from the younger guys while also getting the coverage that people want about the actual bowl game.
Yeah, and I think Denzel Burke kind of let it know that Lincoln still has a little bit of ways to go in his development. And this is going to be. It always has been ever since Kyle McCord pulled the trigger and bailed out. This is always going to be an interesting exercise for the Ohio State quarterback room in this game, because it reminds me, I keep telling people, it reminds me of 2004 when Ohio State played Oklahoma State in the Alamo Bowl, which is right down the road here, about 300 miles in San Antonio. Maybe not that far, but how Troy Smith was suspended for that game. You start Justin Swick, he gets a high ankle sprain in that game. Next thing you know, they're running the Wildcat with Ted Ginn Jr. It may not be that desperate, but it's important that Devin Brown stay healthy in this game.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, for sure.
It's important he stay healthy in every game, but especially in this game, I guess.
Yeah, but just some of the things that you're gleaning and hearing from these guys, you get a sense of where they are in bowl practice right now.
Yeah, Devin Brown especially, you get the sense of what kind of leader he is. And I think that they all talked about that today, that he's someone that's really just taken command of his team since he had the ability to, when Kyle McCord entered the transfer portal. We all saw the video on social media, the JBL speakers. That's just a fun little thing, right?
Yeah.
Any quarterback player. Yeah. But it can mean something. And Steele Chambers was like, yeah, that was like the most expensive gift I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
Even just like little things like that, I think are noteworthy. They clearly are, accepting him as a leader of this locker room. And, Denzel Burke mentioned, like, he's done some things in the last couple of weeks, like, I didn't know he could really do.
Yeah.
And, they don't get into too specific about what those things are, but the combination of his arm, combination of his leg, and his ability to make better decisions, I'm getting the sense that he's doing a better job of that than he was maybe earlier on.
And also asserting himself as a leader, because I followed up with that with Denzel about how it's kind of hard to be that guy until you're everybody knows you're that guy, meaning you don't want to be out there doing this false rah-rah stuff when you're the backup quarterback, because, who are you impressing?
Yeah.
Probably nobody. Now this guy has taken this role, and according to Denzel Burke, who's on the defensive side, has noticed it. He has, pardon the expression, run with it, and I think that bodes well, because everything you're hearing, now granted, it's a slanted view, but everything you're hearing about Devin Brown over the last month has been nothing but not only positive, but positive progress both on the field and as a leader. Now, it's going to Friday night's going to be so interesting.
One last thing that I thought was hilarious was I asked Steel Chambers what he got for Christmas, and he said inside drill. He got a lot of inside drill for Christmas, and that's exactly what he wanted. I asked Jack Sawyer. He said, yeah, inside drill is exactly what I asked for Christmas. So Santa Claus did a good job bringing the Buckeyes what they wanted. They got some inside drill for Christmas. The Lettermen Row crew all at home for Christmas.
Linebackers are strange guys.
The Lettermen Row crew all at home for Christmas. Now we're here in Dallas for Ohio State versus Missouri in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. It's all right behind us. It's all over top of us. And we will be here covering all of it at LettermenRow.com. Tim May, the 40-year vet. Andy Backstrom. We're going to go get to work. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to day one of Lettermen Row's Cotton Bowl coverage. We'll see you guys throughout this hotel, throughout the convention center, over in Jerry World all week as we build up to Friday night, Ohio State, Missouri, in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl.